We got more clips from Minicamp, and today we're going to be looking at the Chargers, getting a look at Jutstin Herbert, McConkey, Brenden Rice, and a bunch of other pass catchers. But before we dig in, you need to click that subscribe button right now. We're going hard in the paint, looking at these rookies every single day, from rookie camp, OTAs, minicamp to training camp. Training camp's coming soon. You want to see what your players are doing behind the scenes. That's when things get serious. That's when we're going to start ramping up. Click that button. Stop missing out on what your favorite players are doing behind the scenes. But today we're looking at Jutstin Herbert. We're looking at the pass catchers. We're looking at McConkey, maybe a little bit of Quinten Johnston, a little bit of Brenden Rice. I got a minute and 15 of clips, and we'll keep looping it and talking ball too. But here's Jutstin Herbert stepping back. Bam, getting it out there. There's Johnston right there. Everybody's interested to see what he's going to be doing this year after a very underwhelming rookie performance last year. But you can also say that could be part of his rookie ramp-up if you're glass half full or glass half empty or just realistic, whatever you are. But we're watching him work through some drills. Here's another one downfield. Boom, bringing it in. Here's another quickie, getting it out there. I like how they were able to get quick shots. There's Johnston again. There's another one. Looks like we're doubled up. There's old lad McConkey diving on the pad. Little Brenden Rice action. Getting it going here. There's Herbert slinging the rock. Ball's getting out there. There's old lad McConkey again. More Brenden Rice. I know a lot of you guys have been looking for those clips. The Chargers were very quiet during OTAs when it came to clips. And they got a little bit of clips out during minicamp. But this is about it. This was about it during the whole time. There's more. But this is about it. And there's lad McConkey during the early part of OTAs. The thing about this offense is you got Hardball in, and they're redoing the offense. They're redoing everything, especially at the wide receiver depth chart. Quinten Johnston here needs to step it up this year because what we saw last year, he had some drops in some key moments. Sour taste in a lot of people's mouth. He's got to be the downfield threat. He's got to win on the boundary. He's got to get the targets spread out appropriately to him. A lot of things got to happen. I think he could be used a little bit better, but I also think he needs to be more efficient and needs to take in those situations a lot better that go his way. If not, then they're just going to move on from him. First round pick going into year two. Year two is a huge, huge year for a player like this. Still a prospect with some upside because he can get downfield and make plays happen. But they brought in lad McConkey. Lad McConkey, a lot of people are very high on him because he is a supreme separator, has the quicks, has the upside. I look for him to be a big part of this offense for a long time. I look for that to happen. I look for him to be a key staple to this passing offense for a long time. How quick does that ramp up? I don't know. Like, he's a rookie. I don't know how quick that's going to be. If I had to put chips on a player or a wide receiver in this offense, I'm not really too keen right now due to it being a hardball offense. Trey Palmer is a guy that he's cheaper right now. A lot of people are not talking up because he's not young, because he's not this or that. He's not super flashy, but he's a safer prospect. I like lad McConkey for the long term. I think you need to be patient with him a little bit, like all rookies. I like him a lot. I think Quinten Johnston is a wild card. I think it could swing either way. I think it could swing really, really, really bad. I just don't see it swinging up the top 5 upside. I just don't see that happening. I could see him being a wide receiver that kicks around the league. Now, talking about Brenden Rice, one of my favorite wide receivers in this year's class. One of my favorite wide receivers in the 2024 draft class. I like him a lot. Strong at the catch point. Very strong breaking off routes. Very assertive, very aggressive. I don't understand why they let him fall in the draft like this. I thought it was very disrespectful. I see the talent. Everybody sees the talent. When you bring up Brenden Rice, people click that up. People click that because they like Brenden Rice. The market's saying, hey, Brenden Rice is good. We want to watch Brenden Rice. And it's not because of his last name. It's because what we saw at the Senior Bowl, especially when we saw him breaking off routes, guys being tight on him, he breaks off, he's very aggressive. We like watching aggressive wide receivers. He's aggressive at the catch point. He's aggressive breaking off routes. He's got strong hands. He's a player that really grew during the draft process. He really grew his stock. And if you're looking for like a late round player or an under the radar player with some buzz that you want to pay attention to during training camp, say you're not a Chargers fan, you're here for players to look at or for fantasy. People come to me for a lot of different reasons. If you're looking for the under the radar player with some buzz, with a name that you want to watch, Brenden Rice. Brenden Rice for sure. He's a guy that can climb the depth chart. He can climb any depth chart. He's got that talent. He's a guy to pay attention to. Of course, his dad's Jerry Rice. I don't really talk about that too much because everybody else brought that up during the draft season. But what I like about him, he's very physical. He's very physical breaking off the route. He's very physical when the ball's in the air. Think about what Hardball likes. He likes lunch pail wide receivers, lunch pail players in general. Hard workers, guys who are nuanced, guys who are sound. Think of McConkey. Think of Blake Corum. Think of Roman Wilson. Think of that. Now think about Brenden Rice here. That's another wide receiver that fits that mold because he's a guy that's just going to go after it no matter what. He's a guy that's just going to be hardworking no matter what. That's what they're bringing in here. They're going to boost the offensive line. They're showing that hand. They're going to show that hand. They're talking about that in the press conferences a lot. I think Herbert, a lot of people, or some people were talking down on him during the start of the offseason. Things are getting quiet. They're not talking about the offense too much. But you got to think they got some interesting prospects here. They got some interesting ones. Gus Edwards getting hurt. They're showing some JK Dobbins here in some of the clips. It's like the media is excited about him. Don't forget about JK Dobbins. Kimani Vidal is fun to watch too. I like him a lot, picking him up late in best ball drafts, of course. Of course. Third rounder in rookie drafts. Some people spin up on the second round for him. Because of the name, because of the offense, all that stuff. I understand. I like going running backs. Especially ones that can catch the ball out of the backfield. But thinking about this offense, this is a storyline to watch. McConkey, Brenden Rice, we're watching them. Quinten Johnston, what's year 2 going to look like? Can we turn it around? Because when you look at his draft profile, it says, I'm volatile. I am volatile. I can go up and down, or my career can be here, or it could be here. That's what it says. Because we have the production, we have the early breakout age, but we weren't dominant. When you watch him on the field, that's pretty much what that said. I was either dominant or I was nothing, and I was nowhere to be found. Go watch his tape. I mean, when you got to watch his tape, you got to go from game to game to game to game, so pretty much you got to go watch his career, which I don't recommend doing. Just take my word for it. It was volatile. That's why you got people that loved on him a lot last year during the draft process, and a lot of people that were down on him. And then you come to me, and I'm like, he's volatile. He's up and down. You're not going to know what you're really going to get. But if you want to take that gamble during the draft process, really it's according to price. And the price is getting very cheap. He's very cheap on underdog best ball drafts. I don't know right now with a hardball offense, you want to do that for a player that was very slow to develop. But maybe I would really watch your portfolio. I would just say that. I wouldn't want to go with a 0%, but I would not want to be in double digits either. I would not want to do that. I would just want a little sprinkle. Let's just say that. Say if I got 100 leagues drafted in underdog best ball, and I'm talking redraft, I just want a little sprinkle. That's it. Just enough to where I have some, but not enough where it doesn't matter. That's it. And I just so he's just some player that I got some shares of. That's it. So low or enough to have, but enough to where, like, if he goes on a run, it helps me, and I know it feel good. But if he flames out, I don't even notice it. That's what I'm saying. I'm talking like 5% or something, 5 to 8 or something like that. I would not be pushing 10%. I don't recommend that on your shares. I think there's too much volatility, and we saw the down, but it could also go up. I just don't see it going up to the point where it's top 10, top 5. I just don't see that. I see McConkey soaking up targets. I see him being a key piece in the offense. I see that. I see this team bringing in more pass catchers over the future. I see Brenden Rice as a player I'm watching heavy in training camp. Jutstin Herbert's good. Jutstin Herbert had a lot of people down on him during his draft process. I don't think anybody remembers that, but a lot of people were down on him, and he really turned things around on them, not him. He turned things around on them. I remember there was people saying they had accounts of him crying in practice and all that, all those stories. And honestly, one thing you could say about him during his college years, he pushed the ball downfield with accuracy. And really, when you think about that with that mentality, when you think about that for football in general, you have to be aggressive or you're really not developing or working that hard or pushing yourself. And when you push yourself to those limits, you're either going to fail or you're really going to transcend yourself. He transcended himself. He's doing good. I don't think he needs supreme weapons. Also, too, in situations, I keep going back to that Vikings game last year because I was watching that heavily because I must have had a lot of DFS on it. But when the matchups are right, he will spam his top target. He will spam those targets when the matchups are very influenced. When the pre-snap reads are very influenced, he will spam Keenan. He would spam Mike Williams. Every single target, not look at anybody else's way. And they will go that way. And it was installed with the OC too, because that was before the pre-snap. That was coming out like that. So the different team, but that's also in him. He controls where the targets go. He looks at pre-snap. He knows the concepts. He's going to go with where he feels the ball needs to go, where he's confident. Thinking about that, once Ladd McConkey's ramped up, once he's good to go, he's going to have a lot of trust in him, and that's going to be over time. I'm not saying week 1. I'm not saying week 12. It's sometime. Quinten Johnston, downfield. I think Trey Palmer is a guy that you need to pay attention to. I think he'll be a cheap asset. I think he might get spam targets in certain scenarios. I think he'll have some upside. Brenden Rice, if he's on the field, he could be doing something for these guys. Pay attention to him. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Let me know if I missed anybody, but I would really just talked about my favorite players. Let me know what you think, though. Make sure to hit that subscribe button on the way out. One thing for watching. Catch you on the next video.